Yeah. Now what was this about? He could have only one suit a year or something?
They would get him one suit a year and a pair of shoes that the farmer had to buy him. And he had his food there, and he slept under the eaves. He said he was always cold because he was not heated, you know.
Sleeping in the loft in the barn.
Yes. Not in the barn,
no.
In the house, in the loft.
But he also had to run to school in the winter without shoes?
No, in fall.
No, in fall.
Yeah, in fall.
With frost on the ground.
Sometimes there was already frost on the grass when he went. Yeah, it was a tough life.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why he was a little bit tough with you kids, you know?
Yeah, well, I think he was maybe a masochist because most people would not do that on their own volition and go for that kind of life, you know?
His younger brother went to visit him once, Andy.
Yeah.
He went to visit him once, and he said, "Why do you stay here? I would never stay here."
Dad was funny that way. He was, I guess, trying to show how tough he was, or something. That he was tougher than anybody else, so he could put up with more. He was a bit ascetic in a way.
And if he wasn't fast enough, the farmer would kick him.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He was a mean bastard, that farmer. But he was much older than his wife, and his wife had the money.
Oh.
So, yeah. And when the farmer died, the woman said she doesn't need a boy anymore to help out. And that was lucky for that, because then he was already 14 years old.
Okay.
And he was able to go to that training for tool and die maker.
So at 14, he was old enough to go to trade school.
Yes.
and learn a trade.
Yes.
So he was probably finished the trade when he was about, what, 17 or 18?
It was 4 years, the trade.
Okay, so 18. At age 18, he come out with his trade and his certificate.
Tool and die maker.
And he could, you know, earn a living and make his way in the world.
Yes. And then he worked, and let me see, he came to Canada 2 years before me.
Okay.
That was in 1952.
Okay.
Okay. And first he was washing dishes. He didn't know English.
All right. He was telling me he worked in a Swiss restaurant, and the waitresses would ride his ass. They would be such bitches to him. I remember him telling me about them. Yeah.
Okay, so he was washing dishes. And then when he went the first time, when he learned English, then he went to night school also to learn all about drawing in English. Right. And then he went for the first job at Pratt & Whitney, and they didn't believe him that he was a tool and die maker. The man who interviewed him, he says, "Do you realize you're competing with men here?" And Dad said, "Why don't you give me a chance? Try me. I can do anything the other guys can do, or better." He said, "I'm trained in Austria." You know.
Fat Wick.